Hey, what's up guys, it's Mike and welcome to Massive Arm Construction. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do every one of the exercises with correct form to maximize the amount of muscle that you put onto your biceps and triceps. So in close grip bench press, we're going to be doing 7 sets of 7 reps. Now the reason why we're starting off with close grip is, again, close grip bench press is going to put the most amount of size on your triceps. And we're going to be doing 7 sets of it because we're going to maximize a lot of our strength right in the beginning to make sure we can really get the most gains out of this one exercise alone. Because this one exercise alone is going to put a massive amount of size on your arms. The second thing also, if you realize when you look at the board or you look on your screen, is once we finish up our triceps, we're going to get to biceps and we're going to do barbell curls. And if you see right there, we're also doing 7 sets of 7 reps. Again, the same concepts applies. When you're working out, you're going to make sure that there's going to be some exercise that's going to be more effective for putting on size than others. So right now, in this workout today, we're going to be focusing on 2 exercises to put on the majority of the mass on your arms, while the other ones are going to support it. Triceps is going to be close grip bench press. Your biceps is going to be straight barbell curls. You grab a straight bar or easy curl bar, and you curl the hell out of it. 7 reps, 7 sets, as heavy as you can to complete those. So let's go ahead and get on with it. So close grip bench press, let me show you how it's done. Alright guys, so when it comes to the close grip bench press, there's actually 5 different things that you need to focus on to make sure that you have perfect form, staying safe, and allow you to push the most amount of weight. Number 1 is where to put your hands, how far your grip is on the bar. Number 2 is where to lower the bar to, right? On your chest, high on the chest, low on the chest. Number 3 is where to put your feet. Whether or not you put it on the floor or on the bench press when doing the close grip. And number 4 is where to put your elbows, flare them in, flare them out. And number 5 is probably one of the most important, which is making sure, well, where to have your shoulders and where to have your chest when you're doing the bench press or when you're doing a close grip bench. And we'll talk about that in just a sec. So let's cover number 1, where to put your hands. So for me, I like to keep my hands about 8 to about 12 inches apart from each other. Now the reason why is because this allows me to be able to do the close grip bench press, use my triceps, but not have it close enough to where it's putting too much stress on my wrists and on my elbows. If your grip is too close, you're gonna find both areas to be maybe a little stressful. Now, everybody's a little different, so it's more of a personal preference again on this part. But personally for me though, having it about 8 to about 12 inches apart allows me to go ahead and still use my triceps, but not injure myself, like my elbows and my wrists. So that will be totally up to you, but keep in mind though, you are doing a close grip bench press, and the wider you go on your grip, the more chest you're gonna use. So a general rule of thumb is making sure that you always have your grip inside your shoulder width. So if you see my shoulders are right here, so that means if I have it right here, this is basically what we call a standard grip for bench press, and you are gonna be incorporating a lot of chest. So you gotta be a lot closer in from your shoulder width, so this way you can maximize your triceps, okay? So that's number 1. So number 2 is where to put the bar. So you'll see a lot of guys do this. They'll bench press or close grip bench press, they'll put the bar very high on their chest. Now this may be fine if they're trying to isolate parts of their chest, but when you're using triceps, when you're trying to really push the most amount of weight, you want to make sure the bar is always under your nipple line or right at your nipple line. So for me, it would be right here. A general rule of thumb is the highest you want to go on your chest in any type of bench press, no matter if you're working chest or triceps, is to have it the highest middle of your chest. The lowest right under your chest, right here. So this way, the reason why is because of this. When you have the bar closer down here under your chest, it becomes a very natural movement when it comes to pushing. That's what you're doing, you're pushing. Because if you have the bar up here, you're basically pushing like this. Have you ever seen anybody push like this? Probably not. The reason why is because it's not natural. So you want to make sure you always do the most natural, the most comfortable range of motion and movement. So this way, not only can you maximize the most amount of weight when doing an exercise, but also allows for a very safe way of doing the exercise, and it builds your muscles very evenly. So when you're bench pressing,
on a close grip, make sure you come down low enough, and a tip here is coming down low and pushing the bar away from your body. Don't think about it as pushing the bar up. Think about it as pushing the bar away from your body. This will allow you to mentally use more triceps than to contract your chest when doing that lift. So the third thing is where to put your elbows. Again, if you're making sure that you're lowering the weight under your chest or right at the nipple line, automatically you'll see that your elbows are going to be about 45 degrees. Okay, you want to keep it right in the middle. So this way it becomes a very natural movement. Again, you don't want to flare it out and you don't want to keep it tucked in too much, okay? Keep it natural, 45-degree angle. Anytime where you're not sure exactly where to put it, just imagine like you're pushing something, and automatically you'll look at your elbows and you'll realize this is exactly where I need to be at when I'm doing a bench press, or if I'm working on triceps and doing a close grip bench press. So number 4 is where to put your feet. Now there's 2 options. You can either put them on the bench when you're doing a close grip, or you can put them on the floor. Now, the difference is when you put them on the bench, it takes away a lot of the stabilization and it allows your triceps to now have to work a lot harder to get the weight up. So that's a good thing if you want to isolate more on your triceps. Now, when you put your feet on the floor, it allows the maximum amount of stabilization. So now your triceps are now stronger because you have more stabilization. It's almost like pushing something standing on 1 foot versus standing on 2, right? You're a lot stronger on 2. Now, which one do you want to go with? When you have your feet on the bench, it forces your triceps to work harder, but you're not able to push as much weight. You may be anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds weaker. So what I usually do though, because it does work your triceps more, is I usually like to start off by putting my feet on the bench. So this way I can really maximize my triceps, because you're not trying to show off, you're not trying to lift the most amount of weight to show people, you're trying to work your triceps the most to build big arms. But around the last couple repetitions, what I'll do is I'll go from here, right? And I'm doing my repetitions, and then as I start to struggle and I know that I pretty much only have maybe 2 reps left, I will put my feet down and keep my chest out more and really try to anchor my body down, plant my feet on the ground, so this way I can get a little more power and get those last repetitions in. So it's kind of a way for me to go ahead and leverage my body so I can get the most amount of repetitions at the end. So I use a combination of both. Now you can try doing that, or you can keep your feet on the bench the whole time, or vice versa, keep it on the floor. It's totally up to you, but just understand the difference between the two. When you have your feet on the bench, it is gonna be a little harder, but it works your triceps more. So the last thing you wanna pay attention to, number 5, is where to put your shoulders, where to put your chest, how to position your body when you're actually doing a close grip bench press. Now this is very, very important, probably one of the most important tips, because if you don't get this right, you're gonna end up having your shoulders too far out when you're pressing. And that's gonna hurt your shoulders, just like how a lot of guys hurt their shoulders when doing a bench press because they don't get this part. So let me show you the difference. So when you're doing a bench press, if you don't have your shoulders, if you don't have your body positioned right, it's gonna look like this. If you notice, my shoulders are out, like that. And I wouldn't even be showing you this with heavier weight because I can easily injure my shoulders. So you notice how my shoulders are off the bench and they're high above my chest. Now this is actually a huge no-no, because now what you're doing is you're putting your shoulders in a bad position and it's gonna cause them to get injured, and you're not gonna be maximizing your triceps. So what you wanna do is you wanna, number 1, keep your chest out, and number 2, you wanna actually squeeze your traps as much as you can. So this way it goes from here, once you have your chest out, and then you squeeze your traps. Now if you notice, suddenly my shoulders are tucked back. So now, once you have it right here, you can lower the bar to under your chest or nipple line and press. So it'll look like this. So this way your shoulders are tucked back, you can really maximize your triceps, and you're using your traps to stabilize the weight. So it's gonna look like this. What I'll do is usually I would lift the bar up. At this point, I'll position my body right. So I'll tuck in my traps. If I want to plant my feet down or up, I will fix it right here. But never adjust your form during a rep. Okay, I'm gonna say that one more time.
Never adjust your form, never change up something in the middle of a repetition. If you do that, you're just asking yourself to get injured. I've done it many times, and almost every time I would almost get injured. So never do that, okay? Always make sure that you adjust your form right in the beginning. Once you have it fixed, then you start your repetitions out. If you ever feel like your form is a little off during the exercise, while you're doing a repetition, stop, okay? Stop, keep it on the top point, keep the weight on top point, adjust yourself, and then continue. Never try to fix yourself in the middle of a repetition, okay? You will get injured. Okay, so this is what it's gonna look like. Lift it up, keep your traps tucked in, chest out. From here, then you press. Now if you notice, my chest is out, my shoulders are tucked back. That's most important when you're doing close grip bench press. So don't forget these 5 things. Number 1, where to put your hands. Number 2, always lower the bar at nipple line or under the chest. Number 3, where to have your, where to have your feet either on the bench or on the floor. Number 4 is elbow position. And number 5, most important, keep your traps tucked in, chest out. And when you're pressing, this way you're using all triceps and not doing this, using your shoulders, okay? So you can stay safe. If you don't have a bench press available, or if you don't have enough weight to properly do this exercise for 7 reps, then what I recommend for you to do is substitute this exercise for overhead dumbbell extension using both arms. Let me show you how to do this real quick here. Let's say, I'm going to show you a 40. You have your dumbbell. You can grab with both hands, lift it up. From here, come down, press towards the ceiling. Down, press towards ceilings. Keep both elbows pointed outwards. And you're pressing up, you're not doing an extension. It's more like a press, even though the name is still an overhead dumbbell extension. Okay. So don't forget, if you have a bench press, definitely go with that. If you don't, and you don't have enough weights to do this close grip bench press, then replace it for overhead dumbbell extension. Okay, so next exercise is going to be a skull crusher. We can use that same bar. Again, we're going to leave it laying on the bench. Don't forget, when you grab the bar off, grab it to here. Okay, don't extend it up to the ceiling like you're doing your first rep. From here, press it up, and then you go into your exercise. So skull crushers, you want to come down above your head to where your hands are touching the bench. Find a place on your ceiling and press up towards it. Down and press. Don't forget, we are doing this so this way we can keep the motion as smooth as possible, and we want to find a place in the ceiling to press towards. This is going to help make sure it keeps your elbows stable so you can work on your triceps the most. And another tip here is when you're finding the point in your ceiling, you don't want to find something that's too close in front of you. The closest you want to be at is eye level right above you. That's where you want to press. So let me show you here. So this is the closest that you want to be at to where you come down and you're pressing. So you don't want to be all the way right here because the pressure is now off your triceps. So you can have it right here. You can have it further above your head to where you're coming down and you're pressing this way. The further above your head you are, the more tricep activation you're going to have. So do what's comfortable for you. Just keep in mind, you want to make sure you come fully down to where your knuckles are touching the bench. And if you really want to get the extreme, and if you really want to maximize your range of motion, you can always have your arms go further back to where they're extending back above your head. Let me show you an example. When you're doing this, you're going to make sure you have no room above your head, so this way you can literally go a lot farther back. So you come down, and from here, extend your arms further back, and one movement up to the ceiling, up to the spot on the ceiling where you're extending it to. So all this does is maximizes that range of motion. And the reason why maximizing the range of motion is so important, reason why, don't forget, it maximizes how much muscle you're using. For the range of motion, generally we'll use the most amount of muscle. Okay, so next exercise is going to be dips, and we're going to be doing it with weights. So the only time that you don't want to do it with weights is if you're not able to do more than 15 dips. So if you're just starting off and 15 dips is a struggle for you, then don't worry about using any type of weights until you get a lot stronger. Now, for the other guys that can do 15 dips on a bench with no problem or no difficulty, you want to use weight on this, so this way we can make sure we really work those triceps. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the plate here to show you. So what I'm doing is I'm sitting on the bench. I have another bench here in front of me. You can use a chair or anything like that. And what we're going to do with this bench here is we're just going to put our feet, so we're going to elevate it off the ground. What it does is it gives us more pressure on our triceps when we're working them. So you notice I have my plate in my lap. Your hands should be close to your hips. You're going to take a step, little steps out. Then we're going to get one foot onto the bench or your chair, other foot out. So now the key thing when doing a dip is making sure that your body doesn't extend too far from the bench. It puts too much pressure on your shoulders and not enough on your triceps. Come down and up. As far as how far down you want to go down to about 90 degrees. And if it feels more comfortable to go down further, then you can also do so. When you're done, you take your feet off the bench or chair, grab the plate, and put it on the ground. We're going to be doing 3 sets till failure. Now, depending on the amount of weight you have, I would recommend that your failure should be anywhere from 15 to about 20 repetition. So if you have too much weight and you're not even able to get to 15 reps, you may want to lighten the weight a little bit, and vice versa. If you have some weight, but you're able to do 25 to 30 reps with no problem at all, you probably want to increase the weight. Okay, so now we're going to go to barbell curls. So I'm going to show you with the easy curl bar, but you can use both easy curl or straight bar. It's just more personal preference for you. So the key thing here, keep your wrists straight. Don't curl towards your chest like this. I want you to curl towards the ceiling. So the difference it's going to make is right about this point. You can either curl toward your chest or you can curl towards the ceiling. Now, a lot of guys aren't really able to tell what's the difference, but it is a major difference when you're doing it because curling towards your chest activates more forearms and not more biceps, while curling towards the ceiling stimulates more biceps and takes a lot of the pressure off your forearms. So it's going to make a big difference on how your bicep development looks. So I'm going to go ahead and perform this exercise again to show you guys, this time from a side view. Okay, so I'm going to curl towards my chest, and I'm going to make it a little more exaggerated so you can really tell the difference. Okay, now this is curling towards the ceiling. Notice how when I come to the top, my wrist straightens out and it goes towards the ceiling instead of going towards my chest. So don't forget that very important tip. It's going to make a major difference in how much you can work your biceps, especially when we're doing barbell curls, which is one of the staples in building size for your biceps. Remember, you're going to be doing 7 sets of 7 reps. Okay, so the last exercise today is dumbbell curls. So you can do this standing or sitting. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys standing. So same rule applies. When you're curling, you want to make sure you curl towards the ceiling and not towards your chest. Keep your elbows nicely beside you. You don't want to extend your elbows out too much. Now I'm showing you with the 45 here, so this way you can really see how I curl with a good amount of weight, because your form will start to change a little bit as you go heavier. So curl, and right back down. Get that little rotation in. And again, keep your wrists nice and straight towards the ceiling, okay? Do not curl towards your chest. Let me show you another example from the side. This is curling towards your chest. If you want to just go ahead and develop some arm muscles, then it doesn't matter which way you curl. All of these exercises are meant to put good size on your arms. If you want to maximize and get very developed, good-looking biceps with nice peaks, huge bulging triceps, you're going to have to perfect your form, and it's going to make that big of a difference whether or not you get really good-looking arms or just big slabs of meat. So dumbbell curls, you're going to be doing 5 sets of 7 reps. Make sure you pick a weight that's heavy enough to challenge yourself on that 7th rep, okay? Don't forget, if you're not able to do 7 reps on all the sets, don't lighten the weight, okay? I repeat, do not lighten the weight. If you can do it on the first or second set, but you're struggling on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th to get those 7 repetitions in, don't sweat it. Keep the same weight, use the same weight every single time you do that workout, and build up the strength till you're able to do 7 full reps on all 5 sets, okay? That's gonna maximize the arm growth, and it's gonna maximize your whole entire development on your biceps, even for triceps when we're doing other exercises too. So, hope this video helps you. Let's stay tuned. Let's go to the real workout. I'll see you there.